sprint. I know that's cliche, but it's really a long race you got to run. You got to get better every day. Stack days. You can't skip steps. You're not going to be a finished product by doing one or two workouts a week, but you got to just build each and every day, uh, muscle memory, and have great habits. I think having great habits can take you a long way. A lot of kids are very talented these days, but some of them have bad habits. You got to have great habits to really make it far.
Absolutely. Julius, let's get to you, man. Tell us your basketball story.
Well, like TC said, man, we both Maysville, Kentucky boys, man, and like wasn't nothing to do there but hoop. Uh, my dad was a hooper back in his high school days. I hooped. I played on some really good teams. We made a couple state tournaments. Got there, didn't make no noise, but I like to say that we brought Maysville basketball back. A lot of people don't know about Maysville, which is now Mason County. But if you go back and look at the most regional championships won, we're second behind Louisville Mill in the history of Kentucky high school basketball. So, we take pride in that. And then, of course, everybody knows about Darius and Chris coming through and winning state championships. I remember Chris used to him and TC used to sit up underneath the basket watching me and the Myrick boys. When we played at Mason County and Maysville and things like that, man. So, we from a tradition-rich basketball culture, and it runs through our blood. All our cousins play. TC's sister is the one who really, her and our cousin Chris Commodore, they the ones that really taught us the game. So I mean that's where we from. I played little college at Sue Bennett College. Man, I played a little bit of basketball and football down there. But that's about it coming up through, man.
So how did you become involved with Camp One?
Well, most people know this. I guess some don't. So TC and I are first cousins, but we're more like brothers. So our moms were sisters. So we was raised pretty much same street, same household, until he moved down to Georgia. Then he came back up, I think his seventh, eighth grade year, maybe freshman year of high school. And I was off and gone and, doing, other things. But I moved, that's when I moved down to Cincinnati, but I was always able to kind of, check back in with him, see how he was doing on the football field, on the basketball court. But while he was at UK, he called me, and I think I was living in Cleveland at the time, and he's like, "Yo, I need you. Get your butt on back out the house, man, because I had done settled down, got married, had three kids, man. I'm trying to live that life." He like, "Nope, get your butt up. Come on, I got something for you." So I said, "All right." So I come, man, and I look, and he's got all these NBA stars around him, and we doing all these camps all over Lexington, Louisville, Indianapolis. I mean, we just going, and that was great, man, to get back out there, man, and to get to be, coaching young kids, which is a passion of mine. And from that point, he started coaching. He started coaching at UK, and then, after that run up there with Cal and Darius and those guys and going to the 2011 Final Four, he went on to Eastern Kentucky University up there and he was coaching up there. So when he did that, we just sat around and talked. We wanted to grow the company. He was like, what you think about this? And I'm like, hell yeah. So he was like, well, and I thought of some magic secret. I'm like, man, how we gonna do it? What I need to do? He said, bro, you got to get in the gym. So I took that literal. So from Cincinnati, which is where I live, to Lexington, Louisville, Indianapolis, Chicago, man, I was in every gym. Anytime there was a tournament, I was in the gym, man, and I was talking to parents and talking to kids and building relationships. And then I met a couple guys from down here in Cincinnati, Paul McMillan and my boy Alex McGoughlin, which is Tyler McKinley's older brother. I kind of just jumped on their coattails and was going around to different places. My boy Nigel Medeiros, he's another one. So I just kind of linked up with them, man, and just started meeting all these players all over. So sparking those relationships, man, that now you starting to see like mature into NBA level talent and guys who are a third overall pick and seventh overall pick in the NBA draft. I mean, it's been a beautiful thing to see, man. We've been truly blessed. But the one thing I will tell you about us, we know we not gonna get rich off of this. We ain't trying to get rich off of this. We don't use kids and parents and promise them a whole bunch of stuff. We got a platform. Come use our platform. You come to this platform, it's a proven platform to where you come here and then you start getting invites to the NBA Top 100 camp. You start getting Pangos invites. You start getting John Lucas invites. It's a springboard. You come here and it's pew. Josh Lindsay, he's one of them. I mean, he came to our camp a couple years ago and he did a couple dunks, and the next thing you know, this guy's all over your Instagrams and he's all over them. We didn't develop that talent. That kid and his coaches and his mom did a great job with him. We just gave him the platform. Now, we know what we talking about. I got a guy like TC who a Division 1 pedigree. He knows what the hell he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. So parents respect us, man, because we keep it real. We not just those guys who, okay, we're gonna roll the ball out and let you do whatever. No, we're gonna coach you up too. We're gonna keep it real, we're gonna tell you the truth. So then it led to where we are today, man, and just using our platform for the betterment of these young kids.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. You just keep it real with them and having, the credibility behind him, behind TC, man. That's amazing. So I want to talk a little bit about KBC before we continue with Camp One. So, guys, how did KBC hoops begin?
So let me jump on. I'll jump on this, and then TC can come in. So TC was at the time he was still coaching college ball. So him being a D1 coach, he can advise us on a lot of things. But like as far as like putting his hands on, he ain't got time. Like he told you, in the first segment, the one thing that he figured out about these players or whatever is you ain't got that much time. So he couldn't do it. So I ended up talking with him, end up linking up with Tom Bauer, who you know.
Yes,
And,
sir.
Tom saw that we was making noise on the campsite. He sat down, we talked, and that's how we came up with KBC. And we started doing different tournaments and the middle school tournaments and things of that nature. And we just blew up, man, with our social media and everything. That was the age of social media. So, and that's how a lot of that got started. TC, you want to add anything to that?
No, yeah, that's pretty much how I got started. Those guys kind of spearheaded it, Luis and Tom, and I kind of just would give advice here and there, whatever they needed, but they took the bull by the horn and ran with it and did an excellent job, really good. It's all about relationships, really. You know what I'm saying? Relationships go a long way in well, really anything in life, but especially in you're dealing with basketball. It's a small world. Grassroots. Everybody talks to each other. So if you establish great relationships with people and just do right by people, then they'll support you and continue to help grow everything.
So, TC, what problem were you guys trying to solve with the KBC?
Um, I don't want to say like to solve a problem per se. I think it was more so to just kind of help to expose our kids in Kentucky to a bigger stage and let the world and everybody know that we had a lot of talent here, and it was starting to you kind of see it coming. It's starting to get developed even more, and just to put them on the stage and let them show what they can do. And I mean, as you can see now, it's more and more Division 1 players coming out of Kentucky, high school basketball each year. I mean, in the past they had talent, but like now it's more exposed. You know, everybody comes around here looking for players now. I mean, every circuit has Kentucky kids on it. EYBL, 3SSB, Under Armour, Rise, Made Hoops. Every uh, travel ball circuit. I mean, look at all the prep schools now. They all come fishing and trying to steal players because it's just a lot of talent here. And I think that was part of the goal in putting that thing together to kind of just more exposure for the kids. And, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, and allowing them to showcase their talents.
Hey,
So
and you
looking
know
back,
what? You know what, Cody? It was a beautiful thing to watch these kids. You know, when you get them, they coming in, they in the fourth or fifth grade, and now you see them all playing Division One, or you see them all on every EYBL. You got somebody on every circuit, like TC was saying. So that's been the beautiful thing, man, is to see these kids represent Kentucky, represent, and I gotta give Cincinnati love because that's where I'm at. But Cincinnati's a hotbed right now. Like we saw all of these kids coming up through early on, the Cam Mercers, your Lee Sean Hills, your Josh Tysons, all these kids that showing out now. We saw them when they was pups. So we get Braden Myrick. He's another one that ain't getting, the love that he should be getting right now at Cub Calf. But we saw all these kids early, man. So we knew, like, hey, these guys can play, man. Like, we got to help these kids get this exposure.
so looking back, fellas, what's your proudest accomplishment with KBC?
Man, for me, it was just getting it off the ground, getting it started, and getting it nationwide recognition. Shout out to Darren Breeze. He come in breezy, coast to coast preps. Um, we go back a long ways. He's a Maysville boy as well. But him and TC linked up, talked some things out, man, and we started doing some things together. But the biggest thing, man, was just we knew we had the talent. Like we was looking at it every day, man. So just to see these kids grow and for us to be able to set the stage for them, man, it's a beautiful thing.
So TC, how do you think KBC hoops has changed Kentucky basketball?
Um, I just think it's a lot of things have helped Kentucky basketball. You got a small part. I think from the grassroots level, I mean, I think that's where it starts, and we just kind of provided a platform and a stage, you know, for kids to come and showcase their talents. We run well organized events. We put on the middle school state tournament. I think that's one of the biggest things we do. The middle school state tournaments. Schools look forward to them every year. And I think it really means something to people to come there and win it. And I think and also it's a measuring stick. Kids and coaches and players come there to they want to see. Look, what are we gonna be up against in high school? What do we got to get to? How much better we got? Because a lot of the teams you see there, those kids go on to high school and they continue winning. It's kind of a marker. You kind of can see who's going to be really good the next few years in high schools. Obviously, kids transfer around a lot, but the main players in schools that have a chance to be real successful coming up. So I think the main part we play is just starting at the grassroots area. It was a lane for it. We kind of took it, especially like Joyce and Tom. They did an excellent job establishing a great reputation for us. And, we just want to continue to keep helping kids and schools and kids get better and have a nice place to play and showcase their abilities.
So, what's the biggest misconception about running a basketball organization?
Make a lot of money. Yeah, people think. Well, now I gotta be honest now, because some of this stuff that some of these guys doing is crazy, man. With some of these prices and stuff like that, man. But I mean, people think that you in it for the money. You're sitting there all day, 2 days, 3 days in a row in a hot gym. You listening to nothing but complaints. You're solving a lot of problems, and then for someone to come and just scream and holler and yell, kick and scream and want to fight because they felt like the referee called a bad call on their coach or their son, and like they feel like they did it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? But like, I mean, if you love the game, it's above all of that, man, for real. So that's the main thing. Is like, these kids, they want to go out and play. They want to play against teams they haven't seen all year. I'm speaking of the middle school states. Your Louisville teams get to come out of Louisville and come up to play the Lexington teams, or some of your Eastern Kentucky teams get to come out of there and play some of your urban teams, man. So that's what it's all about, man. Like he said, using the measuring stick, but people get it twisted, man. They thinking you making all this money. They don't know nothing about your overhead and your referees and like all the stuff that goes into it.
So, how rewarding is it for you guys to see former athletes become coaches, parents, and leaders?
I think it's great. It's a blessing. I mean, that's kind of what we do it for. It's just like I said, basketball is a small world, and networking is really like key to be successful. And guys that stick around and want to do basketball for a living, it's great to see them coaching, whether it's middle school, high school, college, uh, even a lot of guys playing pro ball, whether it's NBA overseas or whatever. So it's just great to see guys just that stick with the game and give back to the game and give back to the game to help build them to who they are because it's more than just basketball. You like you learn life lessons through basketball, whether it's through competition or teaching the game. It's something you can take from this to be successful in anything you want to do in life, really. So
You
it's
got
like
anything to add to
like you
that,
said, it's very
Julius?
rewarding.
Well,
What was that?
he asked me if I had anything to add, and really, it's like how we was raised was each one teach one. You see what I'm saying? So if we have a gift, you supposed to pass it down. You know what and that's what to me that's what that's all about. To seeing these former athletes who were good players come back and be coaches and give back to the game and give back to the community. That's what I love.
So, walk us through a typical Camp One event.
Um, well, we'll probably walk through like the Midwest Spotlight. That's our boys event. We've had kids probably from like over 40 something different states, a couple different countries come in for it. We kind of work on it all year though. It just a lot of people think we just show up and everybody's there, but we kind of work on that like year round to make it as successful as it could possibly be. We kind of pride ourselves on like I know a lot of exposure camps you just play games, but we always want to have at least an hour or two of player development. Where our coaching staffs that we hire to come help us with it, they teach fundamentals, just drills to get guys going and competing against each other instead of just 5 on 5. So we typically start out with that player development. We try to have some former guys that's been at camp that's been successful, try to have some of them around. I know Tyler McKinney's come back and spoke before. Darius is around. He speaks. Chris is always around. He's a sponge. I
Bradshaw.
mean, kids is a sponge for him. A lot of guys. So we have them around just in case kids got questions. They like to talk to people that's been there and done what they've done and have been as successful as they have. And then once we finish player development, they'll be on teams and competing against each other, playing games. The rest of the day, we have refs come in and just to allow kids to compete and just test themselves, see who comes out on top. And it's not an end all be all, it's just for the right now. Somebody might bust their tail that weekend, and then you go home like I gotta get to work. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get to work, and they come back next year and they're way better, or they're way better on their school teams or travel teams, and it's just kind of just give them a foundation.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, it's a measuring stick, but it's also I think it's also can be a motivational tool. You come in there, you play against guys that are better than you. Hey, man, I got to get home and get to work. It's almost I guess you want to call it knock your ego down just a little bit, right? So not as good as I thought I was, but I can get better.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even it could be some kid comes in there and they way better than they thought they were. They go against somebody that they've heard about. Kids get reps early. It might be somebody they've heard about, might be a top five player in the country or something, and they come out there and get the best of them, and it gives them a lot of motivation to keep going. They like, well, if he's top five, what am I? I got to keep going. I just got the best of him in here. So it can go either way.
So how much planning happens before the campers arrive?
I mean, like TC said, man, this all year. So I mean, we talk every day. So I mean, it just the of course as it leads up, you planning more. You deciding what coaches you want to use this year because we take an immense amount of pride in what coaches we putting out on the floor. We got high level high school and college coaches and former pros that we put out there. We not just gonna put no nilly willy and just roll the ball out there and we play. That's not what we do. But so I mean we plan way ahead of time. Our radars are up. We got kind of an advantage for the Kentucky kids because they all pretty much gonna come through that KBC and play in those tournaments, and then even so on the national level too, we can take a peek and see who's coming up through there. But then like we use our networks and stuff like that too. So I mean it's an immense amount of planning that goes into this thing. But as we get closer, then we'll start to trim some of the fat and decide, okay, what format do we want to use? Do we want to use format A, format B, or format C? And sometimes, you somebody, three kids might get hurt and they can't play the next day. So now we got to reshuffle teams and like it's some stuff that happens on the fly that you got to do too.
So I think you're kind of answering it. But TC, how has the Kentucky Basketball Commission help grow Camp One?
Well, hey,
Just
real quick, I think that's the opposite way. So KBC didn't start until Camp One got rolling. So
Okay.
once Camp One was rolling, then we was able to roll out the KBC. That's when we brought Tom in. First he was with the KB with the Camp One stuff first. We brought him in on this side, did a couple events, and then we rolled into the KBC. But they both go hand in hand. Go ahead, TC. I just had to.
no, I think yeah, they go hand in hand. I mean, you know, KBC's more so tournaments and leagues. We can do some camps too, but for our main camp, it allows us a opportunity to see kids competing against each other, to see who might fit well at one of our events. Allows us to network with coaches. Reach out to coaches and just to pick their brains about which one of their kids that they think would do well or fit at our camp. Because the camp is not for everybody. I mean, it's highly intense, and people compete. We're gonna push you to your limits, get you out of your comfort zone. So I mean, it might not be for every kid at the time, but so I think with the events and the magnitude of the events that we do at KBC, it helps to see kids out there competing and also networking with their coaches just to see who's good fits and they get to build relationships with us as well throughout the process.
So what's your favorite part of working with young athletes?
My favorite part with mine is young athletes. It's very very rewarding, because you can kind of mold them. Uh, once they're in you know the later years in high school, they are kind of who they are. I mean, I'm not saying they don't get better, but working with younger kids, you can kind of mold them and help try to build great habits within them to allow them to have long term success. Julius can might answer more for what he thinks as well.
No, I'm just going to piggyback off of that, man. And it's just molding and getting that strong foundation for these kids where guys like us, we've seen it. We've seen a lot. We've seen young guys who started out hot and ended up, mediocre. We've seen young guys start out not so hot but end up getting drafted. You know what I'm saying? So just instilling that fundamental foundation and pushing those guys through. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to have them to keep like an even keel and be humble, but just watching their growth, man, is what I love the most.
So for each of you guys, what is your favorite Camp One memory?
Man, I can tell you one that sticks out to me was I think it was 2019. Reed Shepard and my man from Jamarion Carter from out of Louisville. Them two neck and neck the whole camp, and nobody was budging, and they played the right way. You could see with Reed how his game was just going to blossom. You know, the more he played, being number one, who his mom and dad are, and they beautiful people, but his basketball IQ was off the charts, man. You know, that's like watching Lil Rondo right now. This kid's amazing. But anyway, let me get back to my memory though. Like just seeing those two go tit for tat, and then the respect that they have for each other after it. You know, and then another one for me would be in that same camp. That might be my favorite camp. But being in that same camp, and you see this little dude from Chicago with these dreads, and they was one part was dyed. I think they was blonde tips, and then the other side of his hair, and like he's just out there and he's just going, and we like, who is this little dude right here? Jeremiah Fears, man. Kid went to Oklahoma. Kid ended up getting drafted by the New Orleans Pelicans, seventh overall. Like to see him put in work, and he was humble. He was quiet, and I don't even know if he was the best in that group. But just watching how he worked and how he loved the game, that was fun for me.
What about you, TC? What's your favorite Camp One memory?
Uh, my, mine's is probably it's not really like on the court related. Mine's probably like one time when we was at Princeton High School in Cincinnati, and it's kind of you know it's one. Of the, I like to be very organized and kind of I know what's supposed to happen, how this everything's gonna go. But Julius and them had, I mean, they had done such an amazing job recruiting. I mean, we just we had too many kids. We ran out of uniforms. We ran out of space. If and it was kind of like, you know, it was kind of like a zoo in there for a while till we kind of, you know, we had to stop and yeah, I just had to go outside for about 15 minutes to get my thoughts together. And we kind of, you know, we kind of reeled it back in, man. It was a good, it ended up being a good time. It was a whole lot of talent there, but you know, it's when I think about it now, it was kind of really funny. Like we try to prepare for everything, but I mean, I think we ended up with like 300 something kids. Like I said, we was running out of uniform. We just didn't have enough space, and I mean, we had kids in the hallways doing drills. So I mean, which is funny now, but I mean, that's one of a good memory. I mean, got a lot of them. Like he was saying, that camp we're reading them was really special. It was a whole lot of talent there. Um, it's just each year, I just it's I enjoy it. I mean, we've had a lot of great kids, even a lot of great kids that's in high school right now that's about to start making some probably big noise in college the next year or so. I mean, kids like Jalen Mitchell. I mean, he's coming off a back injury, but he was obviously one of the top kids in the country. And I think he'll climb back into that stratosphere. I know you mentioned Braden earlier. Braden, he's going to explode really soon. I mean, you know, it's just once more eyes get on him, I think he'll start getting a lot of offers. Just a lot of special kids. Gerard Brown, he probably finished. I think that year he finished second in the MVP behind Jalen. But I mean, it was arguments for him and Tice Jarvis as well that year for MVP that year. But I mean, it was a great camp. So it's just a lot of good memories, man. Just enjoy seeing kids afterwards and how well they're doing in their respective careers and going forward.
Cam Mercer was at that camp
Yeah.
and put a show on too. And then the other camp. Now see all these memories coming back now, Cody. And then the other camp with Malachi, and we had the milkman out of Wisconsin. He came down. The kid was about 6'5", 6'7". Big Tim Winkler. He came down from Indiana. I think he's at IMG now. That camp was special. Tay Kenny and all those guys, man. So yeah, it's been some really good memories, man.
Yeah, Taylor came. I mean, Taylor was started out as a sniper, then chucking him had him rolling. He was Mr. Do It All by the end of it. Anthony Thompson, there's a lot of good guys.
The Ant Man, Ohio State. He nasty, man. He shoot that rock.
Yeah, I seen him last year down at Rock Hill at Adidas, man. He's playing off the charts down there. So, how do you guys balance structure while making that camp fun?
You just got to be organized. I mean, kids, those kids that come to that camp, they're gonna have fun competing. That's what they want to do. They want to see how good they are. That's what they come for. So just make sure we have the right coaches that teach and pour into them, and not just there just messing around on the phones the whole time. I think that goes a long way, and I think all the guys that usually we bring in, they do a good job. They pour in the kids. We got college coaches that help, high school coaches, former pros and players that help. So I think the structure of it just goes hand in hand with the setting of that camp. It's pretty much an elite camp, and those kids are built a little different than most. So they have fun competing.
So, what makes Camp One feel like family, Julius?
Because that's what it is, man. Like most of our guys have been with us since the beginning or early on in the beginning. As far as the staff, like I mean, we just it's close knit, and we treat it that way. We treat the kids that come through that way. We form relationships with those kids' parents, and we keep those relationships going until the end of time. I mean, there ain't a college arena or a high school arena that neither one of us could walk into and not know somebody in there. Somebody's gonna come and holler at us. Somebody's gonna come and, oh man, you met, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's what these relationships is about, man. I love to make people feel good. We love to make people feel good, but we always gonna keep it real with them too, though. But yeah, just forming these relationships with these people, man, watching these kids grow.
So, some of your alumni, like you said, Reed Shepard, Jeremiah Fears, Tyron Stokes, Tay Kenny, Anthony Thompson, Jasper Johnson. You guys had Malachi Marino, another Wildcat with Trent Noah, King Baycott, Mason Gribna, who is, I think, one of the best coming up. He's a 2029 7 foot kid. He's really getting the offers in coming off the 3 SSB. But like, what do you remember about those guys, the Kentucky guys, and do those guys stay connected with Camp One?
We always hear. We don't try to impede on them or anything, but like if they we always tell their parents or the kids if they ever need anything from us, just give us a call, message us, and we do whatever we can for them. Like you said, Mason, he plays for Ellis now, and he's probably he's probably the best big man in the country in his class. And I talk to Ellis all the time. Ellis is doing a good job with it. He got a great family around him, and like I said, a lot of these kids, like with Taylor, we've been friends with Chuck and those guys
Since
before
second
these
grade.
kids who they are. Yeah, so it's just that's what he's talking about when he says family. So anything they need from us that we can provide, we do it with no hesitation.
We get Cody, we get calls all the time. Hey man, do y'all know somebody at the NBA top 100 camp? Do y'all know somebody at Pangos? Do y'all know somebody here? Hey man, my kid, he needs to get in front of some coaches. It don't stop. That's why you look at if you look at our Instagram post and stuff like that, man, we try to keep up with all the kids, man, and we hashtag it Camp One Family. And that's what we call it. That's what we do. That's what we consider ourselves.
So I want to, there's Camp One. They have all these camps across the nation. What makes Camp One different?
I think it's a combination of things. Our energy. our knowledge of what they need to get better, and just how we push them. I think our experience with it goes a long way. We've been doing it for a while, so it's not just something put together just to get people in there and get them in and out. We kind of, we take pride in it, and we it's something we kind of, like I said, we work on it all year. It's something we look forward to, and it's something we pour a lot of energy into. And I mean, most people that have been to it probably tell you they really enjoy how we do it and the services we provide to them. Whether they're Joyce, you got anything on that?
Oh, for sure. That's one thing I always tell every parent that asks, because they all call before they sign their kid up. We are basketball guys. Okay? It's a whole lot of internet content, Instagram, TikTok content out here, but we are basketball guys. We are fundamentalists. We are coaches. We're not just going to roll the ball out and just let you play a one-on-one pickup game when you got eight other kids out there on the floor with you. We're not going to do that. We're going to coach you up, right? We going to love you up. You see what I'm saying? And then we gonna do things the right way. So for us, it's about more than making a highlight film. And highlights cool. I like them. You know, but and it's cool. But we
Yeah.
are pure basketball guys.
And yeah, and like you saying that, and another thing I do, which we don't really broadcast it much, but once guys have come through and they're on the radar, I'll send reports. I mean, to a lot of my friends that's in college, just coaching. I'm not coaching college right now, but I still got a ton of guys, and keep these guys' names on your radar. They're coming soon. Obviously, young guys, they they take a little time to watch, but then they'll reach back out like the kid you told me about. I'm watching him now. He's really good. Stuff like that. So it's just providing the service for them. Just to make sure they can be as successful as they possibly can be.
So why do elite players keep returning?
Uh, they want to, they had a good experience. They want to get better in those couple of days. They want to compete and see. You might have been elite the year before. You want to come back the next year. You want to see, have you worked on your game or not? Somebody might have passed you up, or you might come back to pass somebody else up. So I think that's one of the reasons guys return.
And when you got a good product, you're gonna go back, right? I mean, you know, if you like Popeye's chicken, if you like KFC chicken, I like both of them. I'm gonna go back. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Some people like Chipotle, eat it every day of the week. They're gonna go back. So that consistency is what sells. The consistency of the product, right? And like all of those names that you put on the graphic, man, there's so many other names. I forgot about Peyton Kemp up at La
Oh,
Lamere. He won the premier guards in the country. He been with us. He came to camp 2, 3 times. His mom Tia, beautiful lady. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it just the consistency and the pride that we take into it, and the fact that we are basketball guys. You can't take that away, right? We are basketball guys. Cause those parents, they can see through the BS. They can see through it.
so why do parents trust Camp One?
It's a proven product, man. And we don't hide anything from these parents. Can we sit in and stay? Yeah, come on in. You can sit in here all day. Sit in here all day. Matter of fact, come over and sit down and talk to me. What do you think that we need to push your son or your daughter? Because we do girls' camps too now, so we got to touch on those and hit those before we go to let everybody
Oh,
know
sure.
when they popping off. So, but we form those relationships with those parents. Hey, what do you think? Yeah, that little Johnny or little Susie, what do you think we need to know to push them to the next level? To have them compete for the 2 days that we got them, what do you want to see from him or her? You know what I'm saying? So we had those real conversations, man, with people. Like we not afraid. We don't go in the corner and hide, and we don't do we are basketball guys, man.
So, do you guys? Why are fundamentals still the foundation for you guys at Camp One?
I mean, the best players. I mean, you can be as talented as you want to be, but when you meet somebody with the same talent, it's always gonna be somebody with a similar talent level to you. Fundamentals is what's gonna be able to separate you. That's like it's foundation. That's the foundation of a good basketball player, having good fundamentals. I mean, it's like building a house. You gotta have a great foundation for it to last. I mean, fundamentals is the key.
Got anything to add on that, Julius?
No, man, they never leave you. Fundamentals.
So why do you guys stress character?
Well,
Man, listen. That we the way I'm sorry, TC. I get passionate about this. The way we were raised is to be upstanding, outstanding young men, respectful to our elders, do what we're asked to do, maintain our composure in every situation, just life skills, teaching life skills. Man, my wife gets on me every night. All right, Coach King, there you go, Coach King, because I'm always coaching somebody to be better. If it's her, if it's my kids, if it's these kids at the camp, that's what it's all about, man. Pushing kids to be great. And don't nobody like a butthole. You know what I'm saying? So now, and TC knows a whole lot of these. Uh, what they call it now? They used to call it the top four conferences, top five. What they call it now?
power
They
four.
used yeah.
Power
They used to
four.
call it Power Five. Now it's Power Four. He knows so many of them guys on the sideline. He just told you that he'll start, sending guys out. Hey, you need to watch out for this kid. You need to watch out for that kid. The first thing they gonna ask you is what, TC?
Type of kid is he? Yeah, character goes a long way.
And he ain't gonna lie. He not gonna mess up his reputation because we gonna send a knucklehead over there because he's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, mess up my reputation. No, you got to be on point, and we gonna demand a couple things from you. When you in our presence, it's to respect everybody and play hard.
How important is accountability?
Oh, it's extremely important. I mean, if you're not accountable, I mean, it's gonna be hard to have success at the next level, or even in high school. You can't win if your guys aren't accountable. You got to be accountable. You might miss an assignment on the court. Somebody hits you the back door. That's my fault. I'll correct it. You don't the best teams like kind of police themselves. They have their player led. Players lead. So if you're not accountable, then you can't be a great leader, or you can't be a great teammate either. So not my opinion. I think accountability is huge, right up there with character.
So how do you guys teach confidence?
I think I don't think I wouldn't say we teach it, but we kind of coach it into you. You know what I'm saying? Let guys know you're talented, you're good enough to do these things. And I think kids confidence comes from working. I mean, if you in the gym working every day, that's where confidence comes from. You'll go out there and perform and do things you're not normally accustomed to doing because you put the work in. So once you put the work in every day, it's the confidence, like I said, 1% more it builds each day. So it kind of builds in you, and then once you're around us, we don't like beat you up or down you, talk down to you, anything. We kind of pour life into you. You know what I'm saying? We kind of speak life into you and just continue to just build on that.
So I guess kind of piggyback off that. How do you help kids who lack confidence?
Same thing, man. It's getting in and it's working. It's building on what they may consider is a weakness of theirs. We got to get back in this gym. We got to work on your handle. We got to work on your IQ. So you continue to instill positive traits into that kid, but at the same time, you got to work. You work yourself out of this hole to build that confidence. You see what I'm saying? And then, like, once they see things starting to change because of their hard work, their mind state of change.
So what do you tell parents after camp?
I mean, it's really, we're here for you. You guys need anything, hit us up. Keep us posted on, how your son,
Can
your
you hear
daughter's
me?
doing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can hear you, but I mean,
Yeah, no, I think it's just different for every parent. I mean, some parents might, their kids might need to hear one thing, and the other one might need to hear something else. So it just kind of depends on how their performance was, what they're looking for, what their goals are, and I think you just go from there. It's not really like a set message.
well, and I tell you what too, you got some parents who will be a little over the top. So we got to make sure that that kid's okay and that the parent is not being too overbearing or messing with that kid's confidence. We got a message for that kid too. And it's nothing degrading, talking bad about the parent or nothing like that. Just telling that kid, listen, this is your situation. There's a couple ways to deal with this. You know what I'm saying? But you got to do it for you and for your love of the game. That type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's different ways. Different It's a lot of different ways to skin a cat.
So let's talk about player development. Biggest mistakes kids make today.
Go ahead, TC.
You take it. I got you. One second.
Okay. So I think the biggest mistake that kids make today is believing the hype and the headlines too early. You see what I mean? Like I said, man, like a lot of the stuff is this is a we are living in a social media driven world, right? So you see kids a lot getting caught up in their headlines and getting caught up in what their fans are telling them or what somebody's telling that kid or what are their handlers or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, just for me it's believing the hype and forgetting what got them there, man. Like you got to continue to grind, and the grind don't stop. The grind's not over until the grind's over.
TC, what do you think the biggest mistakes kids make today?
Uh, you like as far as what?
Just any mistakes they make as far as on the floor, off the floor, in their
Uh,
development.
I think just listening to too many people. Uh, you kind of get a bunch of different messages. So that can kind of perturb what you're trying to do. Because everybody has ulterior motives, so they might not be telling you what's best for you. It might be, excuse me, something best for them. So I think it's important to kind of not, you don't have to have small circle, but you have to have people that you like trust and that has your best interest, that's looking out for you. So I think that's a mistake people make. That got 30 people in their ear, so which is it's easy to do for, like, it's hard. Well, it's hard for kids that's they're really successful, and people come out of the woodwork. So they feel like everybody feel like they know what you need and what help you get better or whatever. But you just gotta have the right people that that you can trust, and that know what it takes for you to reach your goals. So I think just the biggest mistake is having too many people in their ears.
Yeah, I think like one of the biggest mistakes I see kids is they worry about other kids, like their recruitment and what they're doing, instead of focusing 100% on themselves. They're worried about what their teammates getting instead of why am I not getting it. I see that as well, and I think social media has created that to a certain extent. If one kid's on Instagram all the time, and they made this team, but I didn't make this team. So I try to tell the kids, don't focus on that. Pour everything into yourself. It'll come sooner or later, right?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. You got to run your race. I mean, your race is different than everybody else's.
So, what about the biggest mistakes parents make? You think?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Uh, it might be similar thing that parents listen to a lot of people too, or sometimes. I mean, it's hard to say with parents because I'm a parent, Joyce is a parent. It's it's hard to take the parent glasses off when it comes to your kids. So some parents think their kids are a lot better than they are at the time. So that can cause some mistakes, or some parents, it's not a mistake, but some just don't have the resources to 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 be able to help their kids advance. So they kind of rely on some other people. People swoop in, and they might not necessarily have their best interests. But I think those are all like common mistakes. I don't know if say the biggest or whatnot, but those are some of the mistakes that can be made.
Yeah, I think knowing the business, right? Because right now, high school basketball, college basketball, it's a business, buddy. NIL has made it a business. And there's a lot of coaches, there's a lot of kids that have missed out on incredible opportunities and different scholarship opportunities because these college coaches hear or see from people that they trust about some of these parents and how they act at some of these games. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, like TC was saying, I mean, I believe you have to know your kid, right? If my son didn't want to wake up and go put the work in that's needed to be, or in the evenings that want to be a great player, I can't expect him to be a great player, right? So I know, all right, well, you don't want to do that? All right, well, let's go over and play with these cars or these trucks, or let's ride a bike or whatever. It's not for everybody. And if it gets dangerous when the parents want it more than the kids do. So know your child.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that a little too, I think it's another thing I mean, it's good to celebrate your kid all the time on social, but I mean, college coaches don't like when they're like tearing the high school coach down every other day, or tearing another kid on the team down. It's just not a good look. So they don't want to put up with that, and chances are the kid's not elite anyway, so they're not gonna put up with it. They'll just move on to the next kid, and I think it kind of hurts a few kids' opportunities, just with their parents' actions. But I mean, it's hard to tell people it's their kids, so you know how it is.
What about some of the biggest recruiting myths?
Whew.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a miss. I don't know if I'm sure you know Jake LaRavia for the Lakers. Uh, well, our staff at Evansville was kind of divided on him if uh, if we should offer him or if we should keep going after uh, another kid we was recruiting. So I ain't gonna say who, but it's kind of half divided. But we end up uh, waiting, and he committed to SIUE, and then their coach had got fired at the end of the year, so he opened it up, and we kind of was we had a shot, but we kind of didn't because he kind of felt slighted because we didn't really go hard for him at first, and then he ends up now he's in the NBA. He ended up going to Indiana State, then transferring to Wake Forest, and now he's in the NBA. So I mean, we had a couple guys on staff that just I mean I won't say they didn't think he was good at this. They didn't think it was a good fit, but half and half did, and so that was a miss.
Hey Cody, let me tell you a little short story. I got two of them. So first one, TC's at Eastern Kentucky, and he's recruiting this kid. I think he was out of Georgia. I'm pretty sure he was out of Georgia. I'm not sure, but it's a little guard, right?
Yeah.
Now he's got him in the bag. He's got him in the bag. He's ready for him to come on up and visit, or he might have already came and visit. Man, I tell you what, the next day or that night, that kid calls TC and says, "Hey, coach, Duke just left out my house. I'm gonna go to Duke." Goldwire, was that his name? TC?
Yeah, Jordan Goldwire.
Yeah. At Eastern Kentucky, he's got this kid in the bag, Cody. And here comes Krzyzewski at the last second. Somebody got hurt down there, I think, and they needed a point guard bad. And they came in and like whoop, stowed him out of him. And then the other one, uh, Tristan Newton does not get, and he won't talk about this,
Nah.
but he Tristan Newton, uh, most valuable player, UConn championship a couple years ago. He was a big part of that kid getting the UConn, and I'll just leave it at that.
So you don't want to talk about it.
No, because that ain't the type of dude he is.
Well,
He
not
helped the
really.
kid
Not
because
not
he.
no. It wasn't for UConn. It was for something else. But
Oh, okay,
yeah.
but that's where he ended up at.
So, social media versus real development.
What you mean?
Like,
You talk.
like real development versus somebody's always on social media showing something instead of really developing behind the scenes.
I mean, that's going to tell on you. You know what I'm saying? Like the ball, what they say, the ball don't lie. It'll tell on you, man. Um, I mean, it does every day. You know, I mean, you see so many clips of kids, doing all of these miraculous things, and then like when you really watch them and break down their game, it was a facade. So I mean, it'll tell on you.
So, TC, what do coaches really want or actually want?
Well, for one thing, you got to be able to play. They want the most talented, disciplined, high character players they can find. The game's all really skilled now. So they want really skilled guys that got a lot of character and talented and can make shots. Uh, they want guys that's physical, can play with force, and they want really good people. I mean, it's a lot of good players, but they want to make sure they have good people.
What about how important are grades?
I mean, you got to have them. I mean, you can't get admitted into a lot of schools without having the right grades. I know it's talked about a lot less now with so much money being around, but you got to have it's still school. You playing at school, so you got to have good grades to get recruited. I mean, the better grades you have. I mean, I'm not gonna say coaches be like if it's a guy with guys this say player A is extremely talented, player B is not as talented but got better grades. I'm not saying they're gonna choose player B, but you gotta meet the requirement. You know what I'm saying? You can't. It your grades in high school kind of show a little bit about your character. If you focused on doing all the right things and keep your grades up, but I think it's still very important. It's not the end all be all, but like I said, if you don't pass the classes, you can't play. I mean, they can't depend on
So,
you.
how important is body language, guys?
It's
Everybody, everybody looks at it different. I know my Baylor when Coach Brooks was there at Baylor, they chart body language after each game, so they would they give it a score. So I mean, I think it's extremely important. Um, if you come out of the game, you mad, pouting, it kind of brings down the morale of the whole team. You might be winning, but you mad because you didn't score, or you're not getting the minutes you deserve, and your body's slumped over on the bench. I kind of just it's energy givers, energy takers. It takes energy. People want people that bring energy, not take it. So I think body language is extremely important, and it can, if especially for high school kids, that can that's one of the things that can affect your recruiting as well if you don't have good body language.
Julius, how important is body language to you, like at the camp?
I mean, if I see it and it's really really bad, then I will address it. But like I try, like I don't. So we don't really know these kids yet. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like for them. Now, of course, if somebody's been there, for a couple years, and we know them, and we already established a relationship with them, then I will address it with them. But for some of the ones that are newer, and I see it, and it depends on. It has to get to a peak before I go and whisper to a kid, "Hey, man, come on, get your head up. It's gonna be all right. Stay positive out here. Don't let us see that body language. It's not good for you, type of deal. So I mean, it's not a good thing though. To see somebody, because like TC said, it sucks the energy out of your teammates. It sucks the energy out of the locker room, and people don't want to be around you.
So what makes someone coachable?
Man, just
TC,
Uh,
you got that?
yeah, I take that. It's just doing the right things. Being coachable is a part of being accountable. Being able to doing what your coach asks you to do. Being a leader, and just doing the right things that go hand in hand with helping your team win.
hey, I tell you something real quick. That kid that we had back in the day went to Xavier and played, graduated like 2 years ago. Davion McKnight, you remember him, Cody? He went
Yeah, he
to
played at WKU. Yeah, I remember him in high school.
yeah. So Davion was a super quiet kid, right? And he would come over to the huddle, and we would bark instructions or whatever, and you wouldn't think that he was listening because he didn't look you in the eye. He looked down at the ground. He looked over in the stands. But when he went back out there, he heard every word you said, man. He was out there balling. So it's just a personality type, man. You got to get to know these kids.
So we're getting ready to talk about the upcoming camps, but the last question: what's the first thing you notice about a player?
How for me is how they carry themselves. Like once they own the floor and they per se are getting buckets or are having a good performance. Okay, how's he carrying or how's she carrying herself? Do they play with confidence? Do they get the other teammates involved? We both was point guards, so we feel we gave up a whole lot of shots to get other people shots. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we looking for. Your basketball IQ is number one. Do you know this game? How well do you know this game? You know, so that's for me. That's what's up.
What about
Yeah,
you, TC? What's the first thing you notice about a player?
I'm looking just the confidence. You can I can kind of tell if somebody can play in the first minutes. If it's a big guy, I'm kind of looking at how they run, their hands and stuff. But guards, I'm just looking at their confidence and their command and how vocal they are.
All right, so let's talk about the upcoming camp, fellas. What about the boys' camp?
So we popping that off August the 15th and 16th. It's gonna be in Lexington at the Sports Center, Alumni Center, aka KBC Hoops. Um, it's gonna be a super competitive atmosphere. Um, from grades 2035s all the way up to 2030s. Um, I mean, we just gonna do what we gonna do, man. We gonna get out there. We gonna coach these kids up. We gonna have a whole lot of fun, and we gonna let it roll, man. But you can sign up at thecamp1.com. That's thecamp1.com. That's our website. You can DM us at on our Instagram, and that is at the underscore camp underscore one. DM us, let us know if you interested in coming, you want to bring a friend or whatever, because we found a whole lot of hidden gems, man. We found a lot of diamonds in the rough over the years, man, and we take pride in that. So West Virginia, Indiana, Virginia, Tennessee, Ohio, Kentucky, Missouri, Wisconsin, South Carolina, Georgia, New Jersey. Come on out and holler at us, man. You see the pedigree, you see the names. We in it to win it, man. We gonna get to work.
So what's the daily schedule look like for a camp like that?
TC,
Or
you
the
gonna go?
skills talk? What is it?
Well, we start out, like I said, we'll warm them up, get them in there. You know, we'll take a picture of them, get them in uniform, get them warmed up, do some little, maybe a little combine style stuff. Then we go straight into player development. We group them off with their grades, and we go to our player development stations. We'll do those for about an hour, hour and a half. And as that's going on, we'll make sure they're on teams, and then we'll set a game schedule for the rest of the afternoon that day. Come back next day. It's kind of abbreviated player development. Get some games in. Maybe have a speaker for them that's played and has been there before. We have all star games as well, and there's different competitions on the last day. So that's kind of typically the schedule.
And it's national level write ups as well. Go with those. So we'll have people from different platforms. We have our own guys in there doing write ups on these kids, getting that exposure out hot and heavy for both days.
So what about the girls' camp?
Same thing for that camp. I think that camp is September
The
11th and
15th,
12th.
I think
September
it's
15th. Okay.
it might be the
So
12th. Double
I
check
think
me
it's
on that.
I think it's the 12th. So September 12th at Indian Hill High School here in Cincinnati. I'm the assistant athletic director, athletic coordinator over at Indian Hill High School. So we'll be doing that up there again. National level exposure, and we do bring the video camera out for this, and we got some high level guys that capture content and tweet and blog and do all of that for the exposure. But we want to get this girls camp. Well, we wanted to continue to grow. We had a great camp last year. A lot of high level girls showed up and showed out last year, man. So September 12th, uh, thecamp1.com over at Indian Hill. That's going to be a 1 day camp. Um, we'll do, like TC was saying, we'll do skills and drills with our coaches. Then we'll go into a couple different stations where they'll learn different fundamentals of the game. Then we'll kind of go into some games and do an all-star game at the end of the day.
So do you guys have any guest coaches lined up for either one of those camps?
Yeah, we'll have a few. We don't have them finalized yet, but we always have a few.
So why should every player attend these camps, guys?
Let me shoot my shot. So if you a basketball kid and you really love this game, the track record's proven. You come here, you work, you will get exposed in a good way. That you will get that exposure. Uh, you come out, you work hard, you have fun, and we build that relationship with you throughout. And that's what it's all about, man. It's that Camp One family. So we always looking to add a couple more names to our wall of fame. You know,
So again, registration, they can register at thecamp1.com or they can DM you guys at over on Instagram, the underscore camp underscore one, right?
correct.
All right. So let's get to a little rapid fire before we wrap up, fellas. Favorite player you've ever coached?
Mm.
PC, who's the favorite player you've ever coached?
You gonna get him in trouble, man.
Hey, that's what I do.
Uh, DeMarcus Cousins.
Nice. Boogie. What about you, Julius?
Man, I ain't never coached no big name dudes like that, man. Um, Probably Davion McKnight. I'd have to say he probably was one of my favorites quarterback coach.
So, who's your favorite Camp One alumni to watch today?
Hmm. Man. Well, the politically correct answer would be Malachi Moreno since he's a Wildcat. Uh, man, I mean, it's so many good ones, man. I don't know if I can answer that because we got a couple of kids. We got a kid going to UConn this year, Coburn Landrew, out of Alabama, and he's good. He got robbed of being a McDonald's guy. I mean, I'm gonna say all of them, bro. I can't just pick one. I'm gonna say all of them.
What about you, TC?
Yeah, I'm
Favorite
a ri-
Camp One
yeah,
alumni you watch today?
yeah, I'm gonna ride with that. I like watching them all.
So, your favorite drill at the camp?
Mm. Mm.
I like. It's not really a drill. It's more of a competition. I like the one-on-one competition just to see, see kids competing against each other.
Yeah, that one-on-one competition, that skill level, the offensive skill level really comes out and shows. Um, I tell you, the kid that kind of caught my attention um, during the one-on-one drills, the first time I saw him was
I'm on
Braxton
a
Keatley.
podcast.
He really
Braxton
caught my
Keatley.
he really caught my attention because I was like, when I saw him in the one-on-ones and he kept beating some of these guys, I'm like, whoa, like this kid got some game. Like, where you from again? And like that's what really woke me up to him. So yeah, that one-on-one, that king of the hill.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have Braxton on here in the next week or two. Let's wrap up, guys. But your final message for each of you guys. What do you hope every kid who walks into Camp One remembers 10 years from now?
Uh, I just hope they have a great experience and they learn something they can take with them for the rest of their life.
I hope that they come in and leave out a better young man than they walked in those doors.
All right, guys. No, thank you so much, Terrence and Julius, for joining me tonight. Camp One's legacy isn't just measured by stars who have attended, it's measured by the lives you've impacted, the confidence you've built, and the opportunities you helped create. To everyone watching, if you're looking for a camp that develops basketball skills and character, Camp One is worth your attention. Don't forget to subscribe to Pure Prospect Substack for exclusive recruiting coverage, player evaluations, interviews, rankings, and podcasts. We'll see you next time on the Pure Prospects podcast. See you guys. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Cody, and keep doing a great job, man, promoting those players. We love it.
Appreciate you. God bless,
I
big
love what you
dog.
guys are doing, guys.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.